I too am going on a journey, and just to talk about change and a direction that we're moving in and discomfort. I turned 50 two weeks ago. I went through a 2-day funk when I turned 50. And here I am in the United Kingdom with 2 of my daughters. And I found myself, what have I done so far this summer for me, for fun? Well, the first thing I did is I went to the James Taylor Carole King reunion concert, listening to the songbook of my childhood. It was just, 20,000 people singing. And as I was walking up the stairs at Madison Square Garden to my seat, which was in the last row, the last time I did that, I ran up the stairs, and as I'm walking up, everyone around me was going, "Oi!" And then I just want to fast forward to last night, where I'm sitting in your theater district, in a theater, sitting with my 18-year-old daughter on one side of me and my 21-year-old daughter on my other side of me, watching Hair, saying, "I remember that." And then there's a scene, excuse me, but a scene of complete frontal nudity. And here I am sitting in between my 2 daughters going, this is really weird. And then just one more change that I wouldn't have possibly imagined years ago. When I was at the James Taylor Carole King concert, I took out my telephone, which went straight to Facebook, and I put as my status, sitting in Madison Square Garden with James Taylor and Carole King. It makes the earth move under my feet. Oh. And I received, over the next day, an uncountable number of responses from people I haven't heard from since high school and middle school. It was fantastic. One of those responses was from a young girl who's got to be 50 now, right? Who I knew in 8th grade by the name of, her last name was Boyajian. And I haven't heard from her since 8th grade. I don't even know how I became friends with her on Facebook, but I did, I guess through some contact with our high school or junior high school reunion page. And she writes, "Wasn't it wonderful? Isn't that great?" And the next day she Facebooks me again and she says, "I went through your friend list and we have a common friend, Perry Smilo." I don't know if Perry Smilo has reached your shores. So I emailed her back. I said, "Perry Smilo is one of my dearest friends, and she has impacted thousands and thousands of American Jews with her music." Thinking that she's going to say, "Really?" And she emailed back, "I know, my son's on a plane to Israel as we speak." Boyajian? How did this happen? When I was in 8th grade, the idea of Liza Boyajian sending her son to Israel, or even knowing a Jewish musician, would have been unthinkable. And here we are today, and our world is so much smaller and so much different. So having said all of that, friends, I have had the privilege of serving 2 congregations as a rabbi, and have learned much from the members of those congregations. And now I've enjoyed serving, and I use that word, Justin, the Union for Reform Judaism for the past 15 years as the director of the Commission on Rabbi Congregation Relations. I have been the proverbial fly on the wall. As a rabbi, I've had the privilege of going to scores and scores and scores of congregations around North America and here in Great Britain. And as I mentioned earlier to somebody here, the fabric of progressive Judaism, in North America at least, is multi-textured and multicolored. It varies. It's so different and so beautiful. Let me take this opportunity over that little stutter. When I use the word reform, I might be speaking to the American reform movement. Certainly in Great Britain, I'm going to be speaking to what is progressive and reformed. So liberal, progressive, reform, I'll be mixing those words, so I ask your forgiveness. What have I seen and what have I learned? Well, one of the things that I've seen and learned is that what is traditional to me is not traditional to somebody else. That what is comfortable for me may not be comfortable for somebody else. And I've been working on a theory over the past few years that I'm going to be sharing really for the first time here. And that is that I'm going to explain Jewish history in a very different language, probably a language that our children will understand far more than we. Let me introduce you first to what I call Judaism 1.0. Judaism 1.0 is the Judaism of the Bible. It's the Judaism we were taught. It's the Judaism of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Judaism 1 is the Judaism of creation to the birth of humanity, to drunken Noah. Judaism 1 is of the omniscient, omnipotent God. Judaism 1 is the Judaism of revelation, the Judaism of prophecy, the Judaism of redemption. Judaism 1 ended with the erection of the temple. And now we are into Judaism 2.0, or Temple Judaism. Temple Judaism has what? That was very different from Judaism 1.0. Anybody? Yes, we had the high priests. We had the centrality of worship. What else did we have in Judaism 2.0? Sacrifice. We had a temple cult. And Judaism 2.0 saw for the first time the ingathering of Jews. It was time to make a sacrifice. So what did I do? I packed my bags. I went on a 3-day schlep to Jerusalem. I changed my money. I bought an animal. And I ascended the southern steps. For those of you who have been to Israel and seen the southern excavation by the walls, just magnificent. Those are the steps we walked up. And I said, here, I offer you my sacrifice. When did Judaism 2.0 end? At the destruction of the temple. And thus we begin Judaism 3.0. Judaism 3.0 is Rabbinic Judaism. It's the Judaism of our diaspora. Judaism 3.0 saw a Judaism that we could have never imagined. First of all, we had to learn how to survive in exile. And we learned that to survive in exile, we needed to study. And I'd like to reflect on your issue of authority, Justin. Because in Judaism 3.0, we had authority, and it was the rabbis. I remember my grandmother of blessed memory used to tell me the story that when she was a young girl, her mother used to take the chicken from the market, and when she cut off the head, if there was a little blood, she would tell my grandmother, go to the corner and ask the rabbi, is this chicken kosher? And if he says no, go across the street and ask the other rabbi, is this chicken kosher? That's the beginning of Reform Judaism, of course. Right? So, but we asked our rabbis, and our rabbis studied. They went to Yavna, and they studied, and they told us. Judaism 3.0 created a thriving Jewish diaspora. Judaism 3.0 also saw the emergence of modern Zionism. We are thinking of a homecoming back to our homeland of Eretz Yisrael. And Judaism 3.0, friends, also saw what? The destruction of European Judaism. And with that, or in the aftermath of that, what did we see in 1948? The birth of the modern state of Israel. And I'm going to call the end of Judaism 3.0, we're going to mark that by the Shoah and the birth of the modern state of Israel. Which brings us to Judaism 4.0. And I believe that we are currently in Judaism 4.0 still. Judaism 4.0 we shall call the contemporary Judaism, as it were. From the dawn, well, we'll get to this in a second. So Judaism 4.0 begins with the modern state of Israel, the destruction of European Jewry, and what we are living in today. One, we are rebuilding in the aftermath of the Shoah. We are rebuilding what it means to be a Jew. We're coming out of the closet, as it were, one more time. We are learning how to maintain a vibrant Jewish diaspora while being modern Zionists. That's a whole new world. This is the generation where you can say, I am a Zionist and I live in Cambridge. UK, or Massachusetts. You can be a Zionist in this generation without the aspiration of moving to Israel. And this is the generation where we are learning to build and to maintain the vibrant Jewish diaspora with a vibrant growth of Israel. And Keith, I loved what you said. It's been in the back of my mind for so long, and when you said it, I had this aha moment of, yes, New York City is no longer going to be the largest Jewish population of a city. And the United States is no longer going to be the center of Jewish life in modern America. If not now, very soon, Israel will/is already. What has Judaism 4.0 also birthed? Movements. Movements. Liberal, Reform, Masorati, and I've learned today United Synagogue. Yes? Or in America, Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Reconstructionist. We are of the first generation where you have to pay to be Jewish. Are you a member of a synagogue? No. Oh, well, what kind of Jew are you? Well, I'm a Jew. If you read the article, they received these booklets just today.
Yeah.
There's an article in the booklet written by Anita Diamond called Minhag America. And in it, she writes that in the United States, we used to have check boxes. Are you Reformed, Conservative, or Orthodox? Nowadays, there's a fourth box, just Jewish. But we are in a generation where you must belong to a synagogue. You belong to a Jewish community center. You pay tuition to a Jewish day school or tuition to a Jewish summer camp. It's expensive to be Jewish. My daughter has just spent a semester studying at the University of Haifa. I had to pay for her to do that. In order for my niece to spend this summer in Israel as a 16-year-old for the first time, it's costing $5,000. So we're Judaism by membership. Youth movements in Judaism 4.0. And youth movements are very significant because in many cases the youth have led the adults. We have created diaspora rabbinical schools. And I must say, I'm going to take this moment to say hats off to Leo Baeck. Because in the United States, we still have Reform, Conservative, Orthodox, Reconstructionist rabbinical schools. Whereas I understand, Leo Baeck, you are training rabbis from 3 different denominations. So we are a membership-based Judaism. What I'm coming to struggle with, friends, is I believe we are at the cusp of the end of Judaism 4.0. The Judaism as we know it is coming to an end. That sounds so negative. It's very positive. So what marks the end of Judaism 4.0? I believe it's Google, it's the internet, it's Facebook, it's the modern digital information age of now. So what will Judaism 5.0 look like? With every bit of authority that I have, and with all the study that I have, I can answer that in one line. I haven't the foggiest idea. And that both scares me and excites me. 2 years ago, the Joseph Eisner camp, which is one of our Reformed Jewish summer camps in the United States, was celebrating its 50th anniversary. And the senior vice president of the Union for Reformed Judaism, who is also, shall we call one of the Bob Dylans of our time, Danny Freelander, who wrote much of the song Shalom Rav that you sing in your synagogues, was written on the hill with a guitar at camp. Who knew it would permeate the walls of our synagogues? He stood in front of all of the campers of Eisner Camp and all of the alumni, and he said, as the vice president of our movement, he said, the best thing that we can do is to give Judaism to you, to teach you Judaism, the Judaism that we know, and give it to you so you can make it comfortable for you and make it right for you. And then he said, I am so excited to see where you are going to lead us. And so one of the questions that we have to ask, as this new 50-year-old has to learn, should we as leaders say it's no longer wholly mine? That it's no longer only mine? Is the Judaism 4.0 that I embrace today anything like the Judaism of 1.0 or 2.0 or 3.0? Are my grandparents and great-grandparents, if they were here, would they be comfortable with the Judaism 4.0 that I embrace? And if not, how shall I look at Judaism 5.0 or 6.0, which will probably come sooner than we think?
Great. Thank you.